Welcome to another episode of the Launch Buddies podcast. I'm your host, Barb, and I'm joined by our buddy Darian as our co-host. Today, we have a very special interview lined up for you all. We'll be diving into the inspiring journey of Andrew, one of our launch leaders, and his devoted mom, Annette, who has been a constant source of support and guidance.
That's right, Barb. It's going to be an insightful and heartwarming conversation as we explore how Annette has been there every step of the way, nurturing Andrew's growth and helping him navigate life with autism. We'll discover the power of finding personal preferences and interests and how it contributes to Andrew's unique journey.
Absolutely, Darian. It's remarkable to witness how a supportive parent can make a world of difference in a young adult's life. Annette has played a vital role in helping Andrew discover his passions, find his voice, and embrace his individuality. We'll learn about the challenges they've overcome, the triumphs they've celebrated, and the lessons that they've learned along the way. We are especially excited about his launch into his college journey this fall. Listeners, one of the things that we want to do on the Launch Buddies podcast is to really get a good picture and really listen to the hearts of parents and young adults living with disability. And one of our awesome opportunities today is to have some time with Annette and Andrew. And Annette is just such a great champion. What an awesome connection that I get to have with you, Annette. I'm really grateful for our relationship and for you being willing to just have Andrew try out Launch Buddies and see if it might be a good fit. And it seems like it has been. I'm just amazed at all of the skills and abilities and the communication opportunities that I've seen with Andrew. And I'm curious to know more about your story and just growing up, Andrew growing up and discovering more about his unique perspective and the way he processes the world. Welcome to our podcast. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Barb. And I'm so happy to be here as well. And it's been an incredible journey. Also, I think that Launch Buddies has been an amazing fit for Andrew, and he has come so far in so many different ways this last year.
I remember the first time that Andrew, that you came, you seemed to be a little reluctant. I was curious to know if you wanted to continue after the first day. Is he going to like this? He's such a cool guy. Is this going to be a good fit for him? And I'm wondering what you were thinking or feeling at the time, but it seems to be a fun thing that you really enjoy each Saturday that we get together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've learned a lot about video editing and writing scripts and getting your personal perspective out there. And some of the highlighted areas that, Andrew, you've had on your videos that you've created, and listeners, you can check the videos that he's created out on our YouTube channel at Launch Buddies, and you can check that information out in the show notes. It'll be linked there for you. But Andrew, you like to do a lot of videos about music, right? Or birds, or the other things that really interest you. You're on a journey toward college, and that's exciting too. But I guess I wanted to get from Annette your perspective on the things that have really interested him. Can you tell a little bit about the younger years for Andrew? And Andrew, this is not to put you on the spot. I don't want you to feel, oh, we're just talking about you. But we'd like to just find out more about your story. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, great. So Annette, tell us about life learning about Andrew and autism. What was that like on the earlier years?
One thing I can say for sure is that a big strength that Andrew has had is that he does develop special interests.
Yeah.
And he's very invested in learning more and more. And then for me, what that has done is invested me and broadened my eyes to, wow, this is amazing.
You discover his interest, and then you have come alongside him and helped him explore and explored yourself.
Yeah, so by exploring his or helping him to explore them, it's helped me become passionate as well, and things I would have never, ever learned or thought to learn about. And I guess one example would be when he was very young, probably around 5 or 6, he became interested in orcas.
Okay.
So not as most people think of them as killer whales, but they're orcas, and they're in the dolphin family. Okay. And he spent he's just relentless about how much time he spent learning about them as a little kid. And we yearly came to Washington to visit my mom, where we lived in Flagstaff, Arizona. And so we would come and visit, and then we would go whale watching with her.
Fun.
Once a year, sometimes twice.
Okay.
And we learned everything. I learned everything through Andrew about all the different pods that live in the Puget Sound, about their individual names, about their family dynamics, about whether or not they're resident whales or transient whales. We learned about whales that were in other parts of the country that were endangered.
Not country.
Correct
Okay, let's go right
your
here.
mom there. What is it? Go ahead.
The world and the oceans.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So I was thinking about Luna, the whale that was in Florida.
Luna was the Native American story about the whale.
I love how
Okay.
you're teaching your mom about the specifics on your personal interest. It's a shared journey, right? I appreciate you saying that. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's a different whale, but there was one whale from Florida that was in a captivity, and I tried to free her by sending letters to Florida senators,
Oh, wow.
but of course, nothing happened.
How old were you at that point?
5 or 6.
Okay.
Whoa.
And I'm curious about the crossover of these personal, intense interests that he has, because I'm guessing from some of the things that I know about you, Andrew, is that when you're interested in something, you go all in on it.
Yeah.
And you want to know, like you said, that he wants to know all about it. And he spends time and energy learning about that one thing.
Mhm.
Is there a crossover with the autism diagnosis and some of those intense interest areas that I think, like you noted, that is a strength of Andrew's? That's not something that is a barrier. It's actually an avenue into particular interest areas or topics to explore. So he just wrings out all that he can out of that
Yep.
one topic area. Do you see that as something that is in line with autism or no? Tell me about like when he was diagnosed, or did you see autism being something to really navigate at that early age?
Yeah, it was. The hardest part with Andrew, I think, related to autism was sensory issues, and then also just being in close proximity to others.
Okay.
And which would be a sensory issue. But also just, unfortunately, at an early age, he was very aware that he felt that he was different than everybody else.
Okay.
And the most detrimental part of that early childhood was his self-esteem, because he would actually compare himself to everybody else around him, even at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's the biggest hardship that that autism has attributed to, I guess you could say.
And Andrew, I think you've talked a little bit about that in our Launch Buddies activities, some of the video creation and things, just feeling like you're not able to as easily jump into those social connections with other people or a bigger group. Even with our group, with Launch Buddies, with Darian and the other participants in our group, sometimes it gets overwhelming. We talked about that this morning. And so that's an area of learning that continues to happen from 5 all the way up to, remind us again how old you are at this point.
21.
You're 21. And I think it's amazing how those personal interests, and there are a lot of them. You highlighted a couple. You talked about whales and birds, and then there are some other interests as well that inform what's next in life. So what are some of those other interests? Yeah.
So on his own, he started researching and learning a lot about different cultural backgrounds, different religions, and different philosophies.
Different perspectives.
And
of
different
other people.
perspectives. That was one of his another strong interest. And so I think that information has helped him become this real diverse person.
Yeah.
And holds a lot of information, but doesn't exactly know what he's going to do with that, except that it's important to him and it's a good hobby.
I think the strength of that, all of that information, Andrew, that you gather over all these years is really powerful to help you connect with other people about those different topics, to make connections in areas. You came in this morning and talked about, I said, what was your week like? And you said you went to the zoo. And that was really fun. And I can see how those activities out in the community match up with the kinds of interests, deep interests that you have. And then you can eventually invite other people into those interests. This may not be a job interest of yours in the future, but I could see you as being a really good tour guide at a zoo, an information guy, because you've spent so much time gathering information. How does that even sound? Does that even sound like something that you want to do?
I don't know.
We don't know. But your wealth of knowledge that you're exploring all these topics will help to inform your steps in the future. All right. And so what do you see as next for Andrew, and with all of this journey that you've experienced along with him through all of the interest areas? What does life look like here and then in the fall and beyond?
So we're really fortunate that Andrew's been accepted into the OLS program at Bellevue College. And what that is, the Occupational Life Skills program, which is a 2-year associate's degree, and it's actually part-time. And so he'll be attending for 4 years. And the first part of the program is more geared to advocating for yourself, learning about your specific needs, learning about how to interact with other people, and just real life skills that you can't just get on your own by yourself. And so in this small class community, you get to know each other and work with each other, do small group work, just mostly fundamental skills that you'll be learning for like the first 2 years. And then that's going to branch out into more of a work-related interest. What am I good at? What do my skills match? And then it's going to turn into an internship. And so you'll be actually working in one of those preferred areas that match your skills and interests. And then really after that 4th year, really be prepared to go into a workplace to have a career or a job that is valuable and that is you're passionate about.
And I think that's a really awesome opportunity to go maybe a little bit slower through the process. It may sound like a long journey to, get to that point where you're making career choices and moving into that, Andrew, but how do you feel about not just like taking it all on at one time, but just like slowly discovering more about where you want to be? Does that sound like it is a good fit for you? And
Probably, yeah.
yeah, and getting to know new people on a slower scale. You're going to be local. You don't have to move away from home, and you can go explore those things on your own. Sounds like an awesome opportunity. I'm excited for you. Darian, do you have any questions for Annette and for Andrew? Things that you can think of as you've maybe connected to some of the things that they've said and reflected on your own journey? Is there anything that kind of resonates with you about what they've talked about?
Most certainly, Barb. I can relate to differences from the community. But
what about your own mom walking with you through the things that you're interested in? Or what does family support look like for you?
We together have navigated how steps of where I'm going, like doing things step by step and not always being in a rush.
That's really good.
Because that's when things get a little bit wiggly.
A little bit fuzzy.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so which leads me, my question for you guys is, throughout the hardships, what are the good things that you found through those hardships? Because I know for me, hardships is something that's like around you, and then you get stuck in the hardship. Am I ever going to get out of this? The one thing I've learned is seeing the good out of what you gain out of that hardship. So my question for you, Annette and Andrew, was, what are the good things that you've gained through the hardships that you guys have gone through?
Probably my interests. Sticking to my interests, people might get it. They might think I'm obsessing and that's a little weird. But I just decided, you know what? I don't care. If they're not going to include me in things, then I'm going to do my own thing.
Okay. And that maybe at times feels really lonely, but eventually I think that you'll find people with those common interests, and you'll be able to really speak to a lot of things that many people won't be able to, because you took the time to really dive into those areas for yourself. I think that's a huge strength too. One of the things that, Darian, you talk about is not being able to connect, and identifying that as a similar thing that you have in common with Andrew, that it's hard to make those personal relationships go beyond just saying hello or making relationships that last being able to go places with people, or just having, oh, these are my buddies that I always go to the movies with, or go see a game or whatever. It's hard to keep those ongoing relationships. And so encouraging each other to do that is really important. Do you relate to that? How do you feel about it?
I can relate. And again, especially when it comes to differences, connecting can, in certain circumstances, can be difficult.
Yeah.
And I can relate by, like, when I was going to school or in the adult world where I am now, you're different. Some people will not understand you. And so it's hard.
And I think our group has really helped me to see the importance of people coming together and understanding, hey, they're a little bit more outgoing than I am. Andrew tends to be a little more shy. You are very outgoing, Darian. But with our differences, we get to celebrate each other and accept each other. And hopefully that's something that's inspiring for our listeners as well. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to say, Annette, as far as just the connection and the journey with Andrew?
Yeah. Obviously, living with a disability like autism is very difficult and hard for the individual and for the family. But at the same time, when you talk about what are the good things that have come out of that, and it's if you look at it instead of a single, this is hard, and pinpoint, this is so hard, it's not fair, or how come it's so easy for other people, that kind of thing. If you look at it like that, then you're not going to get anything out of it. And then if you look at it also, wow, what an incredible journey. Look at what we've done. Look at where we came from, just thinking about it last night. And like when he was a little baby until last night, we were sitting out on the deck looking at the stars, just he and I. And he's almost 22 next week. And it's all these years. And look at us now. We're just sitting here looking at the sky, just not talking, just looking at the stars. And that's an incredible privilege gift.
Yeah, you really have a tight bond and a really amazing relationship to see from my perspective. And I really thank you for being willing to share on our podcast today. And Andrew, I hope you don't feel too uncomfortable us talking about your journey. Thank you for being willing to share and open up a little bit.
But
we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Darian. And Launch Buddies really has been an incredible step this last year. It really has.
Good.
And I see more and more growth all the time.
I'm excited for the future, for the growth that'll happen in the coming months and the years ahead for you, Andrew, with your journey into college. Very cool. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back and talk to some of our other buddies. Before we continue our enlightening conversation, let's take a moment to acknowledge our generous sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. SDES provides outstanding support and resources to individuals with disabilities, empowering them to live and thrive academically, personally, and professionally. We're truly grateful for their unwavering commitment to our Launch Buddies community. Be sure to visit their website at www.sdesworks.com to learn more about their incredible work. Enjoying the Launch Buddies podcast? We're all about celebrating the voices of self-advocates who bravely break down barriers. Speaking of brave advocacy, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. SDES offers a comprehensive curriculum, training, and consultation for students with disabilities. Their Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics has been refined with input from educators and families, achieving great success in classrooms nationwide. As Launch Buddies, we understand the challenges of finding the right education. With SDES by your side, you'll feel confident and empowered to provide an exceptional education for every child in your program. Visit sdesworks.com to learn more about the Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics and make a real difference in your teaching. Thank you, SDES, for your commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. Now let's dive back into our conversation that's so captivating with our amazing Launch Buddies.
All right, and now we are changing gears to our buddies who just entered the studio. Welcome, Koa and Jay. How are we doing today?
Great.
Good.
It's so nice to see both of you, and our listeners can't see this, but Jay has pink hair. It's so awesome. and bold and bright. And you look really great today.
I actually got it done on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Who did it for you?
My hairstylist here since I was about a year old.
Oh,
That's nice.
That's a
Wow.
long time. Okay, so she knows probably exactly what you like.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
She knows about our podcast.
Does she really?
I've told her.
Ooh.
Whoa, you guys are spreading the word. Good job.
I've told her, too, that it brings me a lot of joy.
That's so good.
Joy
And
is important.
do you guys know we have already reached about 400 different people downloading our podcast. So nice job, right? So we want to thank all of our listeners who've chosen to download our podcast and listen to our stories and get to know us a little bit better and understand how disability affects life after high school and just navigating the world through the lens of disability, but advocating for ourselves the best way we can and supporting each other in the journey. I love it. We were going to check in with Koa. How have you been? What's your week been like?
It was been awesome.
What have you been doing? Did you help your dad with something?
Yep.
And what was that?
I was helping somebody move out of a house
That is so cool that you're coming alongside your dad and helping out with that.
Very cool.
because I care for him.
You do. He cares for you. You care for him. And that kind of leads us into the conversation that we have. We had Annette talking about her journey with Andrew. And really, Annette has learned so much from Andrew in his interest areas. And so that makes me curious for you with your dad. I know he has similar interests that you have similar interests
We're
to
all
him.
different in certain ways.
We are different. We also have similarities as well, which is really fun to enjoy with your parents. I know each one of you have very strong, supportive, incredible parents who walk with you through a journey. And I know, Koa, you just wrote a script all by yourself, which I'm so excited about. This is, I think, the first time that you went solo on the creation of your own script. Good job.
I can't wait to shoot it after the podcast.
Will you tell us what it's about, a little bit about what you wrote?
So
And you have it right here. He's picking it up off of his iPad. So what did you write about?
So it's about a special needs driving school because the reason why I want this is because I want to meet my goal though.
You've shared that with people on your own videos that you've been shooting.
I just like to thank my mom just for doing this journey, what I like to do. I know she cares for this though.
She sees your personal interest in becoming more independent and learning how to drive on your own. And she's helping you take those steps down the road, literally down the road. And so did you find a school?
Yes, it swerved. I was at Alyssa Burnett and then somebody had their flashcards.
Oh, what were the flashcards all about?
He was on the same page as me. He wants to drive too. So
Was he practicing for the test?
yeah, he was studying. He had his flashcards, like I said. And then I got a piece of paper from his grandpa. And that,
And that was about the driving school?
yes.
Okay.
And it has all the information on it too.
What'd you do with the paper then?
I kept it and I showed it to my mom.
Right? And what did she say?
She said, we'll work on it Saturday.
Creating a plan for that goal
Yeah.
that you have to pursue. I love it. If our listeners don't know about the Alyssa Burnett Center, it's center here in our community. And Koa, go ahead. You can explain about
It's
it.
for people with disabilities.
What are some activities that they do at the Alyssa Burnett
They
Center?
do Dancing with the Stars. They do some artwork.
Wow.
It's a really good place to socialize with your friends
Okay.
with disabilities.
I think they have a lot of different classes that you could join,
Yeah.
right? And Jay, do you have anything to say about that?
My mom is trying to get me in there.
That's really cool. If you don't know, listeners, about the Alyssa Burnett Center and you are in the area, we're going to link to them in our show notes today. And I know, Jay, you have an interest in participating with them as well. Is that right?
I do, and my mom is trying to get me in.
That's fantastic. Are there specific kinds of classes that you'd like to take?
Probably art, because I love to color like Sam.
Oh, okay. So you have a personal interest in coloring or art therapy or just spending your time?
Probably coloring.
You like that best.
the staff are really nice there, and you'll
Oh.
make good friends along the way.
I think that's really important, the social connections that you can make.
But we'll have to try to work it around my schedule because I'm doing cardiac rehab twice a week.
Right. You're doing cardiac rehab and you have a job. So you're needing to find time when you can fit that in as well. Okay. And you know about that, Darian, trying to fit in the things that you're interested in because you do work a lot. I think it's full time.
That's right.
Yeah.
The thing is, it involves coordination.
Time
And
management you talked about.
Exactly. Time management is definitely key, and also organization. And I found myself being able to handle both, like the career I'm focusing on and then the full-time job I'm at. It's definitely all about coordination.
And I think that's one thing that when you live life on the spectrum, like you do, Darian, that's one of those areas of real focus that you have to be intentional about, to work on your time management, to figure out what the week is going to look like, how you're going to do all the things that you're interested in, and so that you stay on top of all those things, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Definitely. It's
Cool.
important.
And do you experience the same thing, Koa, organizing your day or your week? What does that look like for you?
I just do it just by waking up and eating breakfast and getting refreshed for the day.
Okay. And just getting ready for the things that you have scheduled.
Yeah.
Does your mom help you with those types of things?
Yeah.
A little bit. And I'm wondering too, for Jay, does your mom help you organize your day and kind of get all of the things accomplished that you need to personally?
She does, yeah.
What does she do?
She helps me when I have to go out to work.
Okay. Does she help you get some of your clothes ready, or does she?
No, I can do my clothes independently.
What else does she do that you don't do as much as you might
She
do in the
helps me
future?
with my breakfast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she helps to cook for you. That's so nice.
She does drive me to work.
Oh, okay. So she's a supportive parent with transportation.
She helps me, reminds me that I shouldn't be late to work.
Staying on time, like we were talking about time management and leaving when you need to leave so that
So
you're
she
not
gives
late.
me little reminders.
Yeah, and you have to check the maps a lot of times in the Seattle area, just with, this, Darian, because you do drive. You have to adjust your time based on what traffic is happening at the time, right?
Exactly. And luckily for me, Google Maps, actually, luckily for everybody, Google Maps, if you happen to use it, you can set a time. You can set a time of arrival that you're trying to get somewhere, and it will tell you what time you need to leave from your current location to get to your destination.
I really like when the lady speaks, turn right at this street.
Right, the voicing part of Google Maps.
The one-
This is the voice
My
that you want?
mom's old GPS used to say, please make a legal U-turn.
A legal one, huh?
It used to say it a few times. I mean,
Okay, please make a legal left turn or right
no,
turn.
it said, please make a legal U-turn.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You don't want to be illegal, and you don't want Google Maps to break the law and be
No.
illegal on your turns, right?
Never.
Yeah, I had a really great opportunity this week. One of the highlights of my week was getting to hear from somebody from Google, someone who actually works there. She lives life with blindness. She has a condition where her eyesight kind of goes in and out. And so she not only needs accessibilities on her job, but she's also creating tools for other people who are living life with disability. And it's really amazing to hear for Google Maps or other teams that she works on that she's creating tools to make this world more accessible for people. And one of the things that they pointed out is they have on Google Maps a way to find the most accessible types of businesses, right? So when people go into businesses, there's a place where they can make notes, hey, really accessible doorways, or just different aspects of those businesses that are accessible to people with disabilities. So I love that businesses like Google or other places, Microsoft has amazing tools as well. There are many companies who are really reorienting or adding in the opportunity to build in those accessible features into what they offer. So that's awesome. Jay, what did you want to add?
They've really expanded in their world with for people who are blind with technology now.
Yep, that's very true. And it has made through the pandemic when people weren't able to be on site at work doing what they typically do, they are able to be at home. And so a lot of things that people needed in general are there to stay for people that need those ongoing supports moving forward into life. There are really great things that have come up in our society with regard to accessibility. I love that.
It keeps the gears turning for sure, especially when a pandemic like COVID-19 shows up or any kind of illness or event that takes place with technology or with strategy, think of it that way. And something that keeps the gears turning, that's definitely important, because something like COVID without technology, things would have riff-raffed. Everything would have been going this way, that way. It's like, gosh, and then everything goes downwards. But with technology, certain things were able to keep functioning, which is incredible.
It is. And I want to circle back to the ways that our parents or our families support us to have our lives be more accessible, whether it's getting a driver's license. And Koa, is there anything more that you want to say about how your mom supports you or how your dad supports you or siblings?
I think she just helps me set my alarms and make sure they're all right at the right time.
Keeps you on track for your daily events. Very good.
And my routine.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult to stick with the same routine or know what to adjust if something gets thrown off.
It's hard for me to get out of bed, though.
It's not just you that has a hard time sometimes getting out of bed. Jay, what do you think?
Me too.
You do?
I'm not a morning person at all.
Let's ask Darian. Are you a morning person or no?
You know what? When it's time to get up, I just get up. Like, it's raring to go. There was a time I used to sleep in.
Does your mom help you get up in the morning?
Actually, I'm able to get up on my own. So on days you don't get up, like at a certain time that you need to go to work, it can mess with your routine. So say you get up at 7 to get to work at 8 o'clock. And then on the weekend, you sleep until 10 or 11, 12. And then all of a sudden your body's thrown off.
And then it's so difficult during the week to get back on track.
Exactly. So for me, I definitely try and make sure that I stay consistent. And I automatically do wake up at the times I would need to go to work. So honestly, I think it's helped. Routine is important, especially to me. And I've not just to me, but countless different individuals. Routine is another state of organization, and it also creates peace of mind.
That really does. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. It's always such a wonderful opportunity to get to know a little bit more about each one of you and to have you participate on our podcast. We're excited for taking we're going to take a little bit of a break here for a few weeks, and then we'll be joining back in the fall. Okay? All right. Take care, everybody, and we'll
catch you later.
We'll catch you.
This has been awesome.
Yep. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Annette and Andrew, for sharing your inspiring story with us today. It's truly heartwarming to witness the bond and support between a parent and a child, creating a foundation for personal growth and self-discovery.
I definitely agree, Darian. We hope this conversation has provided valuable insights and inspiration to our listeners. Remember, it's through understanding, encouragement, and embracing individuality that we can all make a positive impact in the lives of those we care about.
Stay tuned for more exciting episodes coming up, where we'll continue to explore the journeys of our incredible launch buddies. Don't forget to follow us on social media and visit our website at www.mykeyplans.com for additional resources and updates.
Take care, everyone. Talk to you the next time on the Launch Buddies podcast.